going on, the friends? My name is M238 and welcome back to another episode of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for the Nintendo Switch. In the last episode, we got done level 5 Catfish Maw, and now in this part, we're going to be making our way to our next dungeon. Before we do that, we got the item of Catfish Maw, the hookshot, and with the hookshot, the game really opens up. You can pretty much explore the entirety of Koholint's Island now that you have the hookshot. And that is what we're going to be doing here in this episode. It's like going around and get everything that we can get before moving on to our next dungeon. The first thing I'm going to do is go up here, and you can hookshot across these blocks right here. And with the mermaid scale that we got from Martha, in exchange for, you know, the necklace, we can place a scale on the statue, and we can head inside this cave to get this item, the magnifying lens. The magnifying lens allows you to see invisible objects, which is, as you can see, you can see those enemies. Those enemies were invisible when you entered the cave. So if you heard that I killed an enemy, yeah, I killed an enemy while it was invincible. So this actually ends the trade quest, the trading sequence, and so it is required to get the magnifying lens. Without the magnifying lens, you can't really beat the game. Well, you can technically beat the game without getting the magnifying lens, but in order for that to work, you have to be really lucky, and it's like an extremely low % chance of that paying off. So basically saying it's not worth it. So one of the things that we can do with the magnifying lens is see this Zora right here. You can go inside this house earlier in the game, and that house would appear empty, and that's because you cannot see that guy without a magnifying lens. And he rewards you with a secret seashell, which is pretty cool. In the original Link's Awakening Deluxe, he rewards you with a picture if you can see him. And so, you know, because like the picture quest is not there anymore, and there's extra seashells, I guess they needed to find some way to, you know, place an extra seashell, which is pretty cool. I like that. So for some reason, I never really went back to explore this cave, even though I could have earlier on in the game. And so, you know, as soon as you approach this cave, you can do something about this. So you just bomb the wall that I blew up earlier, and then you'll head over here. You kind of have to go around these blocks, and then now you're on like the higher part of this particular cliff. I'm gonna go ahead and kill off all those enemies right there, and then you can get this secret seashell. Really nice. Alright. And now we're gonna be moving on to the next part, and that is again, I could have done this earlier, but I like forgot about some of the stuff right here. So like I could have done all this like earlier on. Well, those two things at least. This one right here, I'm going back to now because like I didn't do this like right after Angular Tunnel because it was just out of the way of what I wanted to do. So now here I am getting this stuff now. Okay, so now for the first optional thing that we can get now that we got the hookshot, and that is by heading over to this cave right here. In the original Link's Awakening, you could do this without the hookshot. It just requires a really precise jump. That got nerfed. So over here I'm utilizing bomb arrows, and I believe I already explained it. But if you use, of course, bombs and arrows at the same time, you get bomb arrows. There is not a point in the game where you need to use bomb arrows at all. What you have to do in this cave normally is just blow up that wall, then throw a bomb over the railing in order to blow up the rock that I blew up earlier, so that way you can hookshot across, and then go all the way back around, go up to the left, and then hook shot that other rock in order to get that heart piece. So that's how you do it if you do not have access to bomb arrows. But because I have access to bomb arrows, I was able to save myself some backtracking, which is nice. Alright, so the next thing is if you go near Canela Castle, you can hook shot across over here to get the secret seashell. Great! Next thing. So, I'm going back to the shop here, and that is because we have a heart piece that we never really got, but you get this heart piece for a price of 200 rupees. The other thing that's available to us in the shop is that item right there, the chamber. It is a chamber stone. I believe that is our first introduction to a chamber stone. What is that? Well, for one, it's a exclusive item to this version of Link's Awakening. And I will go over more about what that is once it's actually relevant. For now, all you need to know is that there are a bunch of chamber stones scattered throughout this game, and we have to get all of them. There are a total of 14 chamber stones in the game. Here's one that's available to us to get here in the Trendy Game, and we're gonna go ahead and get that right now. And I found out, like, when I was practicing this game and doing some research, that you have to play the Trendy Game a lot of times. And that is because I don't remember if I explained this or not, but this game does introduce the figurine quest here in Mabe Village, where a figurine is available to you in the Trendy Game, and there's only one figurine that will appear at a time, and another figurine will not appear as long as you have one figurine in your inventory. So, like, I got this Goomba figurine, and the next figure is not going to appear unless I place this Goomba figure down somewhere, and we gotta place it down to its correct spot. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I guess I'm just cutting some grass here for some rupees, because we gotta play the Trendy Game a lot of times, so meaning we're gonna be needing quite a bit of rupees. So that's not where it goes. That one's where a piranha plant goes. So go ahead and place the Goomba right there, and then we go back to the Trendy Game to get more stuff. So this time we got a spiny figure. The other thing that's available to us is another heart piece. So we're going to get that right now. So there's actually there's like 5 prizes in the Trendy Game, and there is a strategy to get for like all 5 spots, including the ones that are moving. And so the setup that I'm doing right here is very consistent, and then the rest is just hoping that the Trendy Game does not screw you over, because as you know, the Trendy Game has realistic physics. So because the Trendy Game has realistic physics, it's going to, like, you can do everything right and the prize will roll off, just like real life crane machines. It's great design right there. But yeah, the first 3 prizes, the ones that are like standing in the middle, are really easy. You just get them because, like, they're not gonna move or anything like that. The ones that are moving, however, what you saw me do to get the heart piece, my setup is wait for the item to, like, pass the 3rd item that's in the front, while it is moving right. And I do the same thing for the left side moving platform. The same setup basically, and it works I'd like to say it works 100% of the time. It's just a matter of, like I said, it's just a matter of getting lucky and that the real-life physics don't screw you over. Because it can happen. So it's like right there, I tapped right as soon as the seashell passed that red rupee. And that's my setup in order to consistently get the, oh man, in order to consistently get the seashell, but obviously, as you just saw right there, that was a bit of nonsense. So yeah, like I said, you can do the setup right, and you can get yourself screwed over anyway, because, oh man, the Trendy Game is great, but now, like, since it dropped on not a moving platform, it should be easy. I mean, if it drops on a like spot, like, you know, on the top over there, like not on the conveyor, like on the conveyors basically, then you just gotta pray now. Like, there is practically no strategy. So I got that purple rupee before getting that Boo figure, which was a bit of a mistake. But I still know the visual cue because the items are always going to be like in the center of the tile that it sits on. So, you know, I still know the visual cue, which is great. Unfortunately, I got myself screwed over. It turns out that if you hold the button, then the crane does not go down unless you let go of the button. I figured out the hard way, which is what happened there when I failed. So you know, secret seashells available to us now. We got the Boo figure as well, and I also got the purple rupee because I've wasted a bunch of rupees and I needed to somehow make those rupees up. So there we go. And then now we deliver it over here. The people in May Village don't really see anything about these figures. You just kind of just place them there and just some way to decorate the village. I don't really know what the point of this is. Like, all I know is that you have to do this for 100%, if you want 100% of the game. But to me, I find no real significant purpose of even including this at all. Cause like, nobody says anything. There's like no real like instance where it's actually like super necessary or whatever. I just feel like this whole figurine quest is very pointless. And you can argue that with the figurine quest in Wind Waker as well. Which, by the way, the figurines were also in Wind Waker. I just never showed them off. But yeah, I just find this whole like playing the Trendy Game like 10 times just to get all these figures and then go around the village to place them all down. I don't think it's necessary, but we gotta do it, and for the sake of showing it off, we might as well, and really, like, deal with it. I'll complain about it, but, you know, in the end, I still gotta do it, just for the sake of showing this off. So, the figures start to get kind of hard to get, even if you're doing your setup, even if you're doing the setups correctly. And that's because some of these figures get really big. And like I said, the Trendy Game has realistic physics. So the big figures can like tip over if the crane is like really low. And sometimes that can mess things up a bit. And there's a very good example of that later on. And right now, those are all the figures that are available to us at the moment. I just learned the hard way that all the figures are not available to us right now, which is why I held off on. Which is why we're going to be moving on to something else now. Okay, so the next thing we're moving on to is fishing. So some of the fishing prizes are available to us now. Actually, I think all the prizes are available to us. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, starting off with getting that small fish just because it kind of attracted to my attention, I guess. And this is probably the most unexciting part of Link's Awakening. I've complained about fishing a lot in video games. I've complained about Ocarina of Time's fishing. Twilight Princess fishing was okay. Kinda liked it there. This game's fishing is just... I don't know. It's... like, they made it really hard. Because, like I said in the beginning of the LP, that they changed this fishing game a lot to where, like in the original game, it was just mashing. As soon as the fish got onto you mash in order to reel the hook in, and then you mash if the fish catches your hook. And so it was just all like execution, which, you know, cool. It was really easy. But this time there's actual strategy to this. So yeah. Alright, so if you catch a decently sized fish, then the fisherman will reward you with a middleweight lure. So there's different types of lure in this game, in the fishing game. And there's no real like major difference. The only difference to the lures is that they drop down quicker the heavier the lure is, and it makes it easier for you to catch fish that are on the bottom of the water. So that's really all the benefit that you get. Alright, so our reward for getting this blooper right here is, well, unfortunately, you're supposed to get a different prize.